So the article talks about diversification in the vet force, and a potential limiting factor could be the extramural studies that's involved, or also potentially even vet colleges, the way they sort of conduct their entry requirements, who comes in, or how they come in, more importantly, how they become vet students and eventually vets. We To consider diversification in this particular profession, we do have to consider a few different points. What I believe is, more importantly, apart from the vet colleges having their own entry requirements or what is being needed, and after that also what is being needed as a vet student, the EMS, the extramural studies, the cost involved, going to university, all these sort of things. I think a more fundamental question would be to ask ourselves, what are we as a vet profession portraying ourselves to the public? So when potential vets wannabes, they see us as a profession, what do they see? Is it something that's attractive to them? Is it a profitable industry? Is it an industry that brings a lot of rewards? Is the retention rate high? What are the perks of being a vet? What are the downsides of being a vet? Is it a cool profession to be a vet? And all these sort of factors would influence whether they actually even apply to vet college in the first place, to jump through those hoops to actually become a vet. And I do believe that we can address all the choke points of differences in diversification, such that only the same type of people become vets. But more importantly, we have to ask ourselves inside, as a vet profession, how do we conduct ourselves to the public, so that, say, when a family brings their dog in, their 9-year-old or 10-year-old kid, when they look at us, what do they see? Say if they're in their teens and they're thinking of what they want to be, or what sort of jobs they want to be, and they look at the vet profession, what sort of news do they read about us? What do they see in the media? What do they see on the social following? What do they see as vets people who have vets as friends? What do the vets tell them? How do we portray ourselves as a profession? That is potentially the first step to improve diversification during the profession itself, because it has changed quite a lot, the trend. Back in the 60s, 70s, it was a mainly male-dominated profession. I remember when I was in college, my lecturer was just telling me that she is the only female in her class. But zoom forward 30, 40 years later, right about now, it's very, very different, whereby most of the students are actually female. So for example, when I was in vet college back in 99, our class was made of 140 students, and of which about 45 were male and the rest were female. So the ratio is about 3:1. When I was in my 5th year, and just before I qualified, the first year intake was 220 students, of which 19 were male. So the ratio is 7:1. So what has caused that shift? Where is the diversification in that? Are there more females joining because of other reasons? What has happened to the males compared to back in the 60s, 70s? And what has changed since then? How have we evolved such that the profession has become so feminized since then? Why are there less males applying? And not only just less males, it's talking about the ratio, the socio-economic background themselves. Are we really limiting to ourselves to a certain type of people to become vets? And when we look around in a lecture hall, say, full of vets, are we seeing the same sort of people, or do we get a much more diverse background to that? What is the biggest reason that is not causing, or rather that's causing the diversification of this particular profession at this time? And what has caused the feminization of it? What has happened to being a vet? And this, I believe, is answered by the vet profession itself, not just what the college entry rules are and things like that, because those haven't really changed too much over the years. It's how we portray ourselves that has potentially changed, to see how the public portrays us, to make them even want to apply to be a vet in the first place. So with that, I'll leave that thoughts to you. Comment below on what you perceive when you see a vet. what are the perceptions that you think, oh, he's a vet or she's a vet, they must be ... What do you think of that? And and for vets, what is the most common misconception that you get when you say you're a vet and the public thinks you are something like that, but it actually is not the truth? So comment below. I hope to see you in the next live event. Thank you very much.